The Doctor Who Alhambra Podcast. Real Doctor Who fans with real Doctor Who opinions.
Hello and welcome to the Doctor Who Alhambra Podcast. I'm your host, Brett, and in a world of technology where things are constantly being updated, this podcast, this episode, has been updated from its original recording. Yes, I had a podcast ready to go, but because of the drama that is going around regarding the Big Finish app and website, I decided it needed to be updated because it's not going to be evergreen material. However, I do think it's interesting to keep it parts of it because of the importance of the historical significance of what is going on at this point in time in the fans of Doctor Who and Big Finish. I appreciate everybody that has subscribed to the podcast. Wherever you listen to podcasts, please email the show at alhambraaudio@gmail.com. Tweet the show at Alhambra Podcast. DMs are open. Appreciate those of you that give thumbs up and have replied. Thank you for the messages on the YouTube channel. Really appreciate those as well too. I see them and it is much appreciated. So without further ado, I'm going to get into the beginning of this podcast. And this kind of starts off with, as I record this is August 24th, 2024. And I'm going to go back to the 14th of August when the second Jason Haigh Gallery update apology email/letter came out, because I think there's a couple of things that I really appreciate about this letter. It is not perfect. There are certain things that are not perfect, but I do want to commend where things should be commended and applaud where things should be applauded. And I do want to, question or, be annoyed at the proper things, because again, we are in this world, we are nothing but reactionary. And it is so much easier for us to be reactionary with so many of the instantaneous communication devices that we have, whether it be through, computers, phones, podcasts, audio. I mean, previously, 20 years ago, this show would not be available. It would just live in my mind, and I would not have been friends with Liam, Legion, or Humphrey. But because of technology and all that stuff, we can do that. So I do appreciate this, how the fandom has grown together. However, you could say it also has grown toxic. But in all honesty, I think it would always have been a mixture of both, because again, you can never please two people the same exact way. So that being said, let's look at the updated of apology letter. And it starts off by saying, last week I wrote to you all, this is Jason Haigh Gallery, chairman of Big Finish, about all the changes we've been making to Big Finish. Over the past 18 months, we have overhauled our business critical systems to ensure that we can continue to provide the quality audio dramas now and in the future. So I appreciate this, that, behind the scenes, they've been doing and taking measures and steps to ensure that they are with, the modern technology, to make sure that things are, on cutting room. Because if you go back and listen to some of their earlier audios, there is, and I think there's a reason why they're redoing the Sirens of Time. I think they're now using some of their filters, some of their audio cleanup things, to make the Sirens of Time just a tad bit more sounding newer. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with some of the other stuff that has previously come out over the years as they look to redo those. I don't think they will do, what is it? The Christmas one. Can't think of it right now. The Eighth Doctor and Charlie one. Anyway, they've already upscaled that, I believe, and they've made it as a vinyl and whatnot, as well as spare parts. So I think those two are out. But it'll be interesting to see what other ones that they choose to do in the near future. So again, it is, I commend them on improving their audio dramas and audio quality, even though, basically what they will do if they continue to do this is sell the same thing twice. The letter continues, Big Finish is a company of two halves. Not only do we make exciting audio adventures to thrill and entertain you, but we are also responsible for selling and delivering them directly to you, the customer. To continue doing this on a larger scale requires essential upgrades. So here is what we did. I like this. Again, they're peeling back the layers, letting us know what is going on behind the scenes. We asked experts to build us a new storefront to equip us for the future. And while many of our behind the scenes operations are now much improved, not all of the functionality of the new website and app are working as intended. So I do appreciate that they we're building a new storefront. I really do like the idea of the secondary bundles. They're not forcing you to get, the Seventh Doctor A and B bundle. You have the option of getting the Seventh Doctor A, and you could get the Eighth Doctor B. And in doing so, that you could create your own bundle and get your own savings that way, compared to being forced to just, only getting savings if you get, the seventh Doctor A and B bundle. I appreciate that as a service. I think that is a smart thing, because I am picky and I am choosy, even though according to I love the whole app thing. And here's one of the criticisms I currently do have right now. Right now, as of the day of recording, I have on my account 898 downloads on my account through the Big Finish website. Before, at one point in time, I believe it was 714. Then it got bumped up to about 700, I want to say 83. And then currently on the new app, not the old one, the new one that went to the kind of, put on a hold website, new storefront, I currently have 813. So currently, according to the Big Finish website, the classic one, the one that they reverted back to, at which I'll get to regarding this letter, I have 898. I'm currently missing about 70, almost 80, from the, I guess, new website to the new app or whatnot. And the only concern I have about this is they said that they're going to be migrating both of these or whatnot. And I can download all of my classic stuff on the old app, which I do like. I think the old app is far superior than the newer one. The problem is some of my more recent purchases don't exist on either apps. They don't exist on the new one. They don't exist on the old one. They currently only exist on the new retro, the previous model of their website. I did download those ones, so at least I have access to some of the things that I paid for. But couple of the most recent purchases that or downloads or whatnot, I cannot get access to. On the new app, I have access to the Once and Future Part 8, but I can't download it, probably because Big Finish has not, ticked the box to allow it to be downloaded. I do have access to the Third Doctor box set that comes out, I believe, in October, but so, still not available. But again, some things that are purchased that are currently available, I have no access to except for the Big Finish website. So again, there is some struggle still occurring. Jason A. Guillory continues, I am deeply sorry for the inconvenience so many of our loyal listeners have experienced over the past 2 weeks. We have listened to you, all your feedback in relation to the new website and app, and it is clear that your confidence in Big Finish has been shaken. In order to restore your faith, I have decided that until the new website and app are ready to be relaunched, we will roll back to the previous version in the coming days. So again, this was from a letter, the second apology letter from the 14th of August. Now, I do appreciate that Big Finish has said, we have listened to your feedback, and it is clear that your confidence in us has been shaken. And I do agree. Through the Big Finish audio group, not the Big Finish listeners group, because the Big Finish listeners group, everybody's fine. The app, the new website that has, rocked everybody's, world or whatever, actually works for every single member of the Big Finish listeners group. That is the magic of being a part of the Big Listeners group, is it works. everybody else, it doesn't work for. But for them, it works magically. There's never been any issue. There's never been any reason to complain about anything whatsoever. So I applaud Big Finish for finding a select group and allowing the website to work only for them. I applaud that. That takes effort and time and planning. Bravo, bravo. But for everybody else, yeah, my even though I'm sure everything will sort itself out. This letter continues and will explain certain things. But yeah, my confidence has been shaken. I don't know when I'm going to feel confident in buying something again from Big Finish that is not, of small monetary worth. $4.99, $5.99. Maybe I don't buy anything until, Big Finishmas, when maybe things are a little bit sorted out, because I still, like I said, don't have access to a couple of my previously purchased things on either app. I have shown on the website 898, purchases. Liam has, I think, about 1,700, I believe. So about twice as many as I do. And I think he is still struggling to get everything going. I think he's a little bit more happy because it's on the old app. However, I think because they were, going back and forth, hitting the proverbial tennis ball of his collection back and forth, and because it's so large, I think it didn't show up for quite some time. And again, it can be irksome. The interesting thing about it is it brings the whole question up, and I do love this question a lot, which has been brought up numerous times, is regarding physical media. And on the Big Finish audio group, as well as the Big Finish page on Facebook, it has said numerous times that, by some people, how lucky, how fortunate they feel that they have their physical, CDs and whatnot. And that's all well and good, but there's two problems with that. First off, now they're Big Finish, and because, they're trying to save money and also room in their warehouse, they are not printing as many CDs as they used to. So that saves them warehouse space, that saves them money for employees that are constantly, sending off orders, that saves them money on pressing and creating, boxes and whatnot. So there's a savings of that. For the customer, there is a, storage thing. It's a lot easier to storage, digital files on your computer if, that's all that you're purchasing. However, you're kind of held hostage to as good as technology is working. Do you have a, internet? For me personally, because I have had my external hard drive take a tumble, and I lost so many things and had to re-download so many of my purchases and whatnot. And I noticed one other thing that some people were talking about, and that relates to Big Finish losing, not custody, but the rights to certain audios. And the question is if you purchase them and they were available for digital, are they still available on digital? I believe they are, because they did lose the rights to a couple of the Eighth Doctor adventures with Lucy Miller. And so I think everything was fine that way, but you just couldn't buy them from the website. But again, when it comes to the digital stuff, it's only as good as the servers of the company, and only as good as, and you have to worry at times, because everybody is so worried about offending this person or that person, this group or that group. What will be digitally changed, altered, deleted from something on a digital file compared to, when you have it for realsies as an audio? And that's why, so many people are saying, I, download them and have them on two external hard drives, or I have them on the hard drive and I also have them in the cloud. And that's all well and good as long as everything is functioning correctly. And of course, you have on the alternative side, you have as long as the CD does not, deteriorate and stop working. So there's pluses and minuses for everything. But again, you have this whole um, massive inconvenience. You have this, confidence being shaken. And yeah, I don't know when I'm going to be comfortable. Sorry, I lost track of where I was at one point in time while I was talking, and I don't have Liam or Legion to, put me back on the rails. But I don't know when I'm going to feel confident in ordering more things from Big Finish, and that is not being hyperbolic. That is being, upright and honest. Jason Hay Guillory continues in the letter. It says, to address some of these queries that may arise, please let me reassure you that all historical purchases, so again, I appreciate this, order and release data from the previous website was backed up, and Big Finish team is also carefully recording all purchases made through the new website since then. So everybody that bought everything from the old website, which is now currently the current website as of day of recording, is been backed up. They have everything right there. Again, I'm still missing a couple of things, still irked by that. People who have bought things from the new website, it's not showing up on the old website that they've reverted back to. And so their trust and confidence is shaken because it's not showing up there. The Big Finish staff is now trying to hand do everything to put these newer website purchases into the older website so that people have access to it. I mean, this is all, I've gone cross-eyed according to Austin Powers. And I appreciate the, upfrontness of Jason Hay Guillory. He's basically coming out and bleeding for us, saying that this is not good. We understand that you've lost faith. And if you look at some of the things from the Big Finish audio group, again, not to be confused with the Big Finish listeners group, but through them and also through the Big Finish page on Facebook, they continue to have, some of them still have the same questions that I do of confidence. And how many people are going to walk away from Big Finish because of this? I think they really need to figure out what their loss of customer relations is because of this situation, this unintended, but you know what? It happened. You can't undo it. And so now you need to wonder what's going to happen. Are people going to go to the 7 Cs now? Because at least all of that stuff is going to be backed up and can be picked up there, minus, possibly a couple of bugs and, whatnot. I don't believe in going to the 7 Cs whatsoever. Let's see. It says all purchases on the new website has been logged. Okay, I've discussed this. Once all of the above has taken place, we will publish a revised schedule for the postponed August releases. So at one point in time, we did make mention, and I even told Liam on the group chat that I didn't think that a single thing would come out during the month of August with the new website. And I was so confident in it. And I think that's why Big Finish reverted back to their old website, is because of where it was. There was no way that it was going to be able to be, they were able to use it either confidently or productively. So I do appreciate that they've reverted back to it. I know what the last time that they changed the website, people were begging for them to revert back to it. They did not. Even though there was bugs, they still continued to go forward. Then it says, I hope you will understand that the changes made to our website and app were undertaken with sincere ambition to make things quicker, easier, and more effective for our customers. Clearly, that ambition has been momentarily thwarted. So again, he's coming bleeding for everybody that this was done to make things easier and more efficient for us, the customer. He previously did say it was to, for their benefit too. He continues on. It says the rolling back to the previous versions of the website and the app are not permanent, which is interesting because something that Liam got might contradict that, but it'll be kind of interesting to see what's going on. It says, while the Big Finish website and app cannot remain as they were while our audience grows and new listeners discover our great and ever-expanding catalog of audio dramas, we need to adapt, and we cannot do that without upgrades to our technology that underpins our online store. That said, we've listened and we've learned. Okay, so according to Jason, we are going to be getting the new website and new app eventually. These once scrapped ones are currently in use because of the lack of confidence people had and the massive amount of issues, the technical glitches that we were experiencing are going to be fixed. He says, and this is one of my favorite parts out of this whole new letter. In the future, I promise we will seek out more involvement from our loyal customers up front, and we will be clear about what we are trying to achieve when it comes to website and app development so that you are prepared when the inevitability regenerated into something bigger and better. So I do appreciate that. I think that is a fantastic thing because, yeah, to be kind of dropped out of the middle of nowhere and just said, hey, guess what, gang? In, the creepy voice on the phone, 7 days or whatnot, and being told that that's when we were going to get a brand new website and you'd better start downloading all the things that you have to back up your catalog. I mean, that did not instill, faith. And that, I was very concerned because it went too fast. I was unable to get my, 898 downloads of the website. And then of course they did July 30th, unable to log on, download anything. Like, things were a massive mess. I think getting the customers involved, huge component. I'm not being asked to do this personally. And again, they said the next time we will seek out more involvement from our loyal customers. I'm not thinking that they're going to be, they might change their new website 10 years from now. I don't know where I'm going to be 10 years from now. I do hope that Big Finish will continue. Sad part about 10 years from now is I think we will not have as many classic Doctor ranges unless they really start working with, Sylvester McCoy and Colin Baker and whatnot in a more, as they are with Tom Baker, to make sure that we still continue to have releases that are with those doctors. I think that is going to be the one different thing. And that is going to be like kind of where my support kind of goes, because this, especially with the Shooty era, with just how divisive this era is, as well as Jodie's era, with the Timeless Child, with the By Regenerations, and the not good storytelling, in my opinion, I think that, the classic era is where my fandom lies. And one of these days, I'm going to do a discussion and podcast on the new era versus the old era, because I think that is where a lot of people, I think that is where, never mind. I'm teasing something that I'm currently working on, and hopefully it doesn't go by the wayside, because I constantly work on something and then I get distracted and I forget it exists, or I write it on a piece of paper and I can't find my paper. So, but I am very interested in doing that and delving into the new era fandom versus the old era fandom, because there's some similarities, but I think that there's more differences with that than there are similarities. But that's a podcast for another day. So with that, I'm going to go to the Big Finish website, or the Big Finish page, which 2 days later, so this is the 16th of August, says, unfortunately, loyal customers with extensive libraries will not be able to see their libraries in the app at the moment. We have identified the root of the problem and we are fixing it with top priority. And then they said, the old app Let's see. For clarity, customers should return to the old app for the foreseeable future. So no time on this, but you do have people saying, I can see my library on the old app, but it won't download anything. My problem is with the old app, I cannot, for the life of me, I can download all of my old purchases, but when I click on the, update my most recent purchases, it just, it never stops, thinking and trying to sync up. And my worry is, and I've thought about buying because I was just kind of going through what is coming out in August. I purchased Death World. It's not showing up. You have the Death and Life of River Song. That's about $30 right there. I'm not sure I'm curious about that. I've heard some good things, but I'm not sure I'm all for it at this point in time. And especially if I can't get access to it. Do I pick this up if I don't have access to it? I mean, hopefully I'll be able to have it on the website. But again, my trust is shaken. Do I pick up the War Doctor? But oh wait, that's the Morbius the Mighty. Is that? Oh no, that's a box set. Okay, I could pick up that one. You have the Dark Gallifrey, which I think I'm going to sit out the Dark Gallifrey for quite some time. Who knows? Maybe I'll get around to it later. I do have the Sixth Doctor Adventures, the Trials of a Time Lord. That has not been dropped yet as of day of recording. But do I pick that up? Or no, I did pick that up. Will it be available? Will the Davros that is in a wheelchair on the cover art with a Cyberman and Mel and Perry, will that one be available on the app? I don't know. Do I pick up Susan's War just to try that out? I don't know. There's so many things that, my belief and confidence in Big Finish have shaken. I'm not 100% sure what to do at the moment. I do like that they said, great work. I'm being transparent. I can understand this has been an absolute nightmare for you guys. Again, people are annoyed at the lack of communication at times, and also the amount of money that has, because I do know from Legion, who has still a part of the Big Finish listeners group, they have squashed all commentary about this on that page. But I can see the frustration of people because they have sunk, £5, 10, 100, a couple thousand, and Liam probably about $2.3 million pounds worth of Big Finish audios. I think that there's so many people that have, people have sunk money into this, and it's not that they want to listen to it now. It's that they're worried that what they have purchased is gone and might not be returning. So I think that is where a lot of people are, and that's where a lot of the frustration lies. I am very confident Big Finish does understand it. So yeah, I am going to now, let's see. Sorry about that. I'm going to look at the letter that Liam got. This was posted to me on our group chat, and then he also put it on the Big Finish audio group. So he says, hey, all, I got a rather lengthy post about the state of the app from Big Finish. It seems to shed a bit more light on the subject, what is and is not going on. Now, I want to just, before I read this, I want to go back and I want to focus on what was being said on Jason A. Guillory's August 19th thing. It says that, there may be okay, sorry. Where is it? We have listened to your feedback. Okay, it's clear that blah, blah, blah. Sorry. We have decided that until the new website and app are ready to be relaunched, we will roll back the previous version. So now, keeping that in mind, I'm going to go to what Liam got back from on the 21st of August. So that would be about 7 days later. So it says, it's let's see, it's not great. However, at least it's something for now. I hope it you find. So this is Liam. I hope it's the question of migration. Let's see. It's not a question of migration any longer. So that is, uh, according to that introductory sentence that Liam gave the group, it's under the belief that the new website, the new app is dead. So, that being said, this is what he has. It says the now mothballed slash defunct new app, which has a black background and says Big Finish, still exists for the moment, as some long-term customers with large libraries such as yours, upon reverting back to the Hughes Media app, the white logo, blue background says Big Finish app, found that upon trying to refresh their purchase list, have actually temporarily lost access to it. I am in this boat as well. So the mothballed one is still up, so you can at least access the majority of the library that way, but it's glitchy and is not being maintained or have any further attempts to restore transactions, which are still not appearing as of just before the rollover, and likely won't show any of the new purchases made since the rollback, or allowing you to download any title releases since the rollback, and will likely eventually become unavailable. You can, however, access all of your 1900, 1943 transactions via your account on the website as long as they are, as they are released titles. I'm afraid we can't really provide an estimate to when you will be able to successfully resync your app with your account. As far as I've been told, the issue isn't that something is broken. The issue is that we've got too many customers with large libraries triggering refreshes simultaneously. Attempting the sync process multiple times will just add to the load on the server. So we suggest attempting to resync only once a day by swiping down. Yeah, I've done that. And guess what? Doesn't show up. At least 3 of my purchases on your purchase screen to force this. It is recommended that you leave the app open and activate your device when you attempt this, and the loading spinner is still moving. Yeah, mine doesn't spin. Mine initiates the spin and then stops the spin. And then do not leave it to run in the background whilst using other apps. Okay, well, I did do this because I would like the things that I ordered to appear on my account. Obviously, the tech team will be investigating to see if there are things that can be done to improve the app sync's time. But hopefully, after the initial swell, things should normalize and your account will be able to sync before it is timed out. If you are still experiencing any issues with this at the end of the week, please email bfapp@bigfinish.com with details of your device, the version of the app you're using, and the operating system. I understand these aren't satisfying answers, but these are the only answers we have at this time. Apologies on behalf of Big Finish. It is not a question of migration any longer. That is so. You had 7 days previously, on the 14th of August, Jason Hay-Guillory basically saying that the old app, old website was temporary. Now you have that it's not a question of migration any longer. The now mothballed, defunct new app, that's how it starts off. The now mothballed, defunct new app with a black background saying Big Finish still exists for the moment because of long-term customers with big libraries. So I think that this is going to be very interesting to see what happens regarding this. I don't. I'm glad Liam cut the person's face off, or the um, information, so that nobody can be, um, you know, maybe there's too much of a leak. Maybe this is an incorrect leak. I do appreciate that. Um, some people, thank Liam for doing this job, thanking him that he'll try he'll try to sink while the people in England are asleep because of this situation. You have, somebody says, thanks for sharing. It isn't much, but it does help a little, particularly knowing that all the refreshes are only adding to the load on the server. I must admit, I've been refreshing the app numerous times per day, but I'm still aim to do what little I can to try to resync that. Okay. Somebody says, so in summary, we need to delete the new, now defunct Big Finish app, the black background, and go back to the old one, then wait for things to catch up. Am I right? Liam says, yep, regarding that. I think there's so many things. Yeah. I it is one of those things that I can see the frustration. I understand the frustration. You paid for something, the company still exists, they have not gone bankrupt or whatnot. I just think that, we are accustomed to things running a certain way, uh, having access to things that, we paid for. And I think that is the scary thing about everything going digital is you lose the control of controlling your library when things go digital. It'd be one thing to not be able to have access to your own library, unless you were in a flood or a fire or whatnot. That would be one thing that is uncontrollable. This is uncontrollable, but kind of controllable at the same time. All right. So next, a couple days ago, people were discussing and here's why one of the things and reasons why I redid this podcast is it was discussed on the Big Finish audio group that regarding no Big Finish podcast is appearing on this site. It should have been back by now. And they were very right. When you look at the previous month of July of 2024, you had, this on the 7th of July, you had a podcast. Then about 7 days later, you had another podcast. 7 days later, you had another podcast about that. Again, and I guess you could say the obnoxious thing about that podcast is if you look at it, the summary, it says the chat coming up, good review guy, Doctor Who short trips. Let's see, behind the scenes, Lost Stories, Death World. Like there is a Randomoid Selectron. There is no information regarding the brand new website. It is check out the editions of the podcast range here, blah, blah, blah. There might be some more, but they did not say anything about the website. If you look now, and I do appreciate that Big Finish is finally going to be releasing a podcast on Sunday, the 25th. So the same day that this drops. Believe me, I will be listening to that sucker. Why? Because the about says this: Nick and Benji present the chat, website issues, behind the scenes, and the drama. Tease the trials of the Time Lord, also available Susan's War. I am very interested to finally be getting some information more than I do appreciate the apology letters, but I think a in-depth discussion of the situation is needed and has been needed for quite some time. So with that, and then I look forward, because I swear usually they put, the upcoming podcasts. And as I look, September 2024, as of day of recording, there is none. There is no podcast except for the 25th of August. So maybe I need to put this podcast out before Big Finishes so that I might get some traction here. Anyway, I think that that's quite interesting regarding the lack of that. What was it? Somebody, I guess, emailed Big Finish, and they said when they emailed Big Finish, they said the free stuff like the podcast and the Toby Haydock's Who's Round are at the very bottom of the list of the priorities. So if there's any problems with them, it's probably going to be a while before those are sorted. That is perfectly fine. I don't care about those, especially in normal circumstances. The podcast. I hope that this podcast is not like fart joke mentality. I feel as though that it is the what is it? It is the Nick Briggs and what's his face, a Benji show where they're just like randomly laughing at nothing in particular and nothing really happens whatsoever besides fart joke and whatnot. I hope it is actually done very classy and very as a matter of fact. I think that would be probably the best thing that they could do for the fans of Big Finish, for the customers of Big Finish. So with that being said, I'm going to end the podcast right there. Please email the show if you would like and subscribe. If you are listening to this on YouTube, give us your feedback. I'd love it. Wherever it is, email at alhambraaudio@gmail.com. Tweet the show at Alhambra Podcast. DMs are open. And until next time, I will see you in time.
You have been listening to the Doctor Who Alhambra Podcast. Doctor Who is owned and trademarked by the BBC. Doctor Who Alhambra is not affiliated with the BBC or Big Finish. No infringement is intended. Visit our website at alhambrapodcast.weebly.com or email the show at alhambraaudio@gmail.com. Tweet us at Alhambra Podcast. That is ALHAMBRA Podcast. Thank you.